Well, ways of life are changing, and one of the ways of life is that we have seen people go from the medical personnel and the frontline folks wearing masks to more wearing masks, including Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York yesterday stating that the state's requiring people to wear masks in public whenever social distancing is not possible. So there's obviously more of a need for, if you will, civilian masks. And stepping into that breach have been a lot of folks who are helping to design masks, who have turned different parts of their world, their industry, into mask making. And one of the people doing that is Kiya Tomlin, who, just for perspective, is the wife of Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin. She joins us now live, but I don't want to talk about Mike Tomlin. I don't want to talk about Steelers and all that stuff. I want to talk about you. Let's give everyone the background first. You have a clothing company that really has adapted to the times and the masks. So tell us about the company and how that got started first, Kiya.
So my company is just called Kia Tomlin, and it is just comfortable, polished clothing for the modern women. People like myself that are on the go, raising kids, running a business, and we want to be comfortable, but at the same time, we want to be polished and fashionable. And so that's what I design. And I've had the line since 2014. Fall of 2014 was when I started ready to wear. But previously, I was a custom designer for a number of years, probably close to 20 years now, doing wedding gowns, evening wear, special occasions type stuff.
I was doing a little research on this morning, and I believe the anecdote that you told was your mom would pick you up after a half a day of kindergarten, and you would sit there and start cutting out little fashion type things from paper, and anything that was around your house, even with your brothers growing up, you would turn into a fashion project. Does that kind of say where the love came from for you?
Yes. Yes, I started very young and didn't go to design school initially, but in our roundabout travels was able to go actually at when Mike was working at the University of Cincinnati.
So now we get to this reality of what's happening with COVID-19, and the business part of your world closes down. So when did you get the idea to adapt your business to help folks who are in need of masks right now?
I was probably about a week into being closed down after kind of the novelty and fun of not working kind of wore off. When the first few days it was kind of like a little bit of a vacation being home. And someone sent me a text of a request from a hospital system in Indiana, I believe, that was asking for home sewers to help sew masks, that they really needed masks. And so I was like, oh, this is something that we could do. I've got a team of small team of sewers that are all sitting at home. Still, I was still paying them. And so I figured, let me see if I can, if anyone in our area needs masks. And I called around and got connected with Allegheny Health Network. And so we started donating, sewing and donating masks to the healthcare system.
So how long does it take to make a mask, and how many is your team able to crank out in a week, let's say?
Okay, so it takes about 8 minutes to make a mask. When I set out to donate, my goal was to donate 500 a week. The need has been so great, we're actually doing about 400 a day from our homes, which is not quite as efficient, as our workshop, because we're all on home machines as opposed to our industrial machines, which are much faster and more powerful. So yeah, we're putting in some really long days behind the sewing machines.
And did I read right that you're looking to see if there's anybody out there who can find a place or find a substance to be a filter so people can reuse your mask not in the medical setting, but in the everyday setting, and then they can get something to put in there to be more of a barrier to help out, make it even more protective mask?
Yeah, when I first started doing the mask, and I was communicating with Allegheny Health Network and trying to decide, we really didn't know anything about masks. I think like the rest of the country, you kind of hear about these N95s
right.
and oh, please sew. And so I jump in going, okay, I'm going to make a mask, and quickly realize you cannot make an N95. There's really no substitute for it. And so we kind of, decided on with the CDC compliant version of, a suitable mask with a double layer cotton. But I kept hearing all this talk about filters and will there be a pocket for filters? And we had even kind of, discussed doing that. But where are the filters? Everyone keeps talking about these filters. I don't know what these, I haven't seen a filter come up that would be like a sheet of something that you could insert. So that's what I'm, thinking, like, somebody needs to make the filters.
That's right. That's right. That industry coming together. That's what a lot of this is all about. So you mentioned, that you were thinking maybe 500 a day, and now you're cranking out 400 or 500 in a week, and now your team is cranking out 400 in a day. Are you working coaches' hours? Are you working some Mike Tomlin type hours to get this all done?
I definitely am, and I think he's enjoying watching me do it.
What kind of hours are you working?
Usually to bed by 3 or 4 in the morning, and then back up at 7. It doesn't take me from quite that long, but I still, do have to cook and clean, and I've got a house full of people, and I'm the grocery store runner, and so there's still other things that I'm doing, but I'm putting in, quite a bit of time. I mean, if you're digging over 100 masks a day at 8 minutes a piece, it's a decent amount of time.
So I don't know if you've ever told Mike at any point, hey, put the clicker down and just come over here and help make some masks. How would Coach Tomlin do on a sewing machine?
Horribly, but he did try on the very first mask for fit purposes, and he does like to kind of sleep or nap near the sewing machine. He likes the whiz of the sewing machine.
That's pretty cool. And you have a son who's playing college football. So he's a freshman, and you have another kid who's a high school senior. So like a lot of us, you're readjusting to having everybody under one roof and people who have newly gained independence. So it's a unique challenge there as well. Plus Mike's preparing for the draft. So what is it like trying to keep all this together in the house right now?
Well, I have to say, fortunately, since all the kids are older, we've got 4 at home, my 3 plus our nephew. They're all older, so they're all in online school, and they're pretty self-sufficient. Really, the only inconvenience, I would say, to me is to have that many like grown people hungry and making messes.
Right.
Other than that, yeah, it's been smooth sailing, and it's actually kind of been interesting for me to kind of overhear the draft meetings, because I don't really follow. It's hard to, bad to say, I don't really follow football that closely. So to hear the intricacies of what they're doing is pretty entertaining to me.
So now you understand all those hours at work, what Mike's actually doing, right?
Yeah, I always used to tease him and say that I thought he just office hopped and told jokes and old football stories, but it looks like he's working.
That's so good. Well, thank you for what you're doing. It's really interesting. And then after this, folks should check out the clothing line. It's really neat stuff and a great story. Other than passing by at league meetings or league functions to say hi, we haven't had the chance to connect. But I really appreciate you coming on, and great that we could give a little bit of a window to everyone for all that you are doing for your community and to keep people safe. Kiya, thank you. Best to your family.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.